I'm Professor Stephanie, and today we're going to look at drawing circles and ellipses using guidelines. We're going to use guidelines similar to the guidelines we used in proportion. Let's start with the idea of drawing a circle. Instead of starting with a circle, I'm going to suggest you start with a square, like the square that I've drawn here already. This is a 2" by 2" square. And I've found the center by putting an X right from corner to corner. There's my center. Drawn a line through the center vertically and horizontally. So I've divided that circle like we've done before into quarters. But the next step to use this as a guide for drawing circles is to divide the longer part of this X from the center to the corner into 1/3 proportion. 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Actually, we're going to use this outside third that you can see I have marked as our guide. And we're going to use those dots, and then I'm also going to dot where at the cross comes to the edge of the box. So with these guides, I'm actually going to take my marker and start at the top, and I'm literally going to use my dot to dot method around in a circle to create a circle. Look at that. Much easier than trying to freehand that. So we started with, for a circle, a square, divided it with the X, found the middle, did the cross, and used the longer X to create guidelines along with the outside of the box. Let's try this to draw an ellipse. This time, instead of a square, I have a rectangular box. And you'll notice that I've got the large X, found the center, we've got a vertical line, a horizontal line. Now on these longer parts from this X, from the middle to the corner, I've divided into thirds, just being able to estimate this. Again, I don't have my center third, but there. So these are going to be my guide points. I can make points on the outside of this box where the cross matches, and then I'm going to go from point to point using this as a guide to creating an ellipse. So when we're going to draw a circle and ellipse, we'll start with a square. Let's take a look at this in a perspective view. I've got some guidelines set up for a perspective view. I've got a horizontal line and a vanishing point in the center. This is, again, the 2" by 2" box, similar to what we did here. And then with my center vanishing point, I have some perspective lines, and then I have the back of the box. Starting with the 2" by 2" box, we can repeat what we did on the top there. Notice I'm using my triangle to help with some guides. There's our center of the box. With that center, I'm going to find X. Here are some guides. This is going to be 1/3. Here is my 1/3. So now I have my guides. I'm using my red marker. You'll be using your pencil, and then you can take your marker little cattywampus down there. So we have a very similar circle that we created before. Let's take a look how this theory works in perspective. So we have the top of the box, and we're going to draw a circle on the top of the box. Same process. Start with an X. This time you'll notice the X is not in the center, it's further back. This is the center in perspective. We're learning more about how with perspectives an item looks larger when it's close to us, it gets smaller when it goes back. Now this is when this is going to This technique is going to become important to us because now we have our X from the center to the corner is two different sizes. So I'm going to still work with my 1/3 theory of dividing that line. I'm going to still use these as guides, making my points a little bit bigger because this is a little bit different. So let's take a look at what happens here. We get an ellipse, and an ellipse is a circle in perspective. You can see I was a little off here. This works out great. So when you're making your circles and ellipses, you can start with that square or that rectangular shape, put an X through it, find that center, then you're going to get a horizontal and vertical cross. Divide the points, and I'll show you down here with this, how right across here is where your 1/3 is going to be, and then this outside third is what's going to be your guide. So practice on your own with rectangular boxes and rectangular shapes, drawing circles and ellipses. Thank you.